The NFL might be in trouble, but not on the field. The U.S. government is now investigating how the league sells its TV rights and whether it's costing you more money to watch games. Think about it. If you want to watch every NFL game today, you need cable, plus streaming services like Amazon Prime, ESPN, Netflix, and even YouTube. That adds up fast, and the NFL says it's still fan friendly because local games are free. But let's be real. The biggest matchups are increasingly behind paywalls. And here's where it gets interesting. With new TV deals coming soon, the NFL is about to ask everybody for even more money, which could mean even more streaming exclusives. So the big question is, how much is too much for fans? Because at some point, the league risks turning America's most popular sport into a luxury that people can't afford. The NFL is facing unexpected pressure as the U.S. Department of Justice has launched an investigation into how the league sells its media rights. At the center of the issue, whether the NFL is hurting consumers by spreading games across multiple paid streaming platforms. Right now, NFL games are split across traditional networks like CBS Sports, Fox Sports, NBC Sports, along with streaming giants like Amazon Prime Video, Netflix, and YouTube. And while local games remain free, many marquee matchups now require multiple subscriptions, increasing the cost for fans as the league currently earns, Frank, that number says 10 billion annually from media rights and is preparing for even bigger deals after 2029.
Yeah, that's billion with a B. However, lawmakers, including Elizabeth Warren and Mike Lee, are questioning whether or not the NFL's antitrust exemption under the 1961 Sports Broadcasting Act still makes sense in today's modern streaming era. Meanwhile, traditional TV partners, especially companies like the Murdoch family, like Fox Corporation, might be pushing back as streaming platforms continue to grab larger shares of the game. So it's not just the government that's bringing this up, it's also the television companies that are bringing this up because they're losing more and more prime games to these streaming services.
The NFL is still king of television. Let's explain what this entire situation means. 83 of the top 100 broadcasts last year were NFL games, but the way fans watch is changing fast. This investigation could force the NFL to rethink how games are distributed. It could impact future TV and streaming deals and potentially lower or raise even more the cost for fans. And at the same time, tech companies like Amazon are already eyeing bigger prices, including possibly streaming a future Super Bowl. So the question is the NFL becoming too expensive and fragmented for the average fan to follow? To me, I think this is getting out of hand in a greedy side of all of these entities. And it's not just the NFL. I mean, this is all leagues and this is all levels of life where everything is on a subscription. And people are hurting right now trying to find, ways to make ends meet. And here's what a lot of these entities don't understand. Yes, they continue to raise money, but eventually people are going to stop paying for it
Mhm.
because it's going to come between them eating and them paying for a house and then watching the NFL. And eventually it's going to price out more people. The reality is, people are the market's eventually going to reset itself. But if people are still willing to pay for all of these streaming services, the NFL and all these other leagues and all these other entities of life are going to keep asking for more.
Especially Major League Baseball, because they're starting to get in on this as well. They have games on Netflix now. They have games on Peacock now. They have games on Apple TV now. So they're granted they do have a lot more games that they can distribute. It's still though you're starting to see more and more of those big marquee matchups getting stuck behind paywalls, and you're losing. And think of, you know me, I'm not a big fan of the Yankees, but for Yankee fans, you have the Yes Network, My Nine, which is typical standard television. Now you have every Friday night behind the paywall of Amazon Prime. You've got almost every Sunday night game that was on ESPN. You have NBC games this year. You have Netflix games starting this year as well, plus the games that are stuck behind Apple TV. Just to watch the Yankees, just to be a Yankee fan, you need to have 8 or 9 different subscriptions, including cable, in order to just watch your team play. So if this goes well for the DOJ with the NFL, they're gonna go right to baseball next, I have a strong feeling.
I think you're gonna start going to all these leagues that think they're going to cash in on all of these streaming services. In college, uh, conference contracts are up in
Mhm.
2030. And you know they're going to get the same kind of treatment as a lot of these other leagues, and they're going to keep asking for the same thing. And here's the deal: like I'm somebody that pays for, we pay for Red Zone, and Red Zone is, I think it's better than Sunday Ticket because like I used to watch Sunday Ticket here, and it would work out because it was great to be able to watch the Chargers when I was living in Texas. And then, at that time I was in college. So my dad was watching all the other games. He could flip back and forth. Now without the Chargers, there's no reason for us to have Sunday Ticket. Um, but with Red Zone, you don't even get all the games anymore, right? You
Mm-mm.
pay for the Red Zone channel, you pay for Sunday Ticket. It's like, well, those don't include the streaming games. Those just include the ones that are on television, and you are continuing to pay more and more money for direct for Sunday Ticket and for Red Zone, and you're getting less and less inventory because all the streaming sources are now chiming in to pay for things. It works for my family because everybody has their own little subscription fee, but everybody's paying for one platform, so we must have it somewhere.
Yeah.
But for most families that are like have small kids or whatever, you're not paying for all of these. I guess too many of them, right? There's too many of these to be able to consume. And again, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's a lot of pros and cons of every types of uh, economics, if you will. The pros of capitalism is eventually people are just going to not pay for things. They're just be like, I'm not paying for this anymore. And then the price will go down. The cons are you get a lot of leagues that are very greedy. And so these leagues are going to continue to feast off greed. And as long as people are paying for it, they're going to keep going up. So the fact that the DOJ wants to get involved, I'm all in favor for. I'm tired of having sports price people out on this entertainment deal, especially since the other thing too, it's not like the people that work in these sports are making tons of money. It's the owners of the leagues, the players. But like you look at college athletics, you saw what happened at Cal. There's a bunch of people about to get that are getting cut from jobs so they could pay for other things, and they're gonna just increase more stuff with streaming and with subscriptions. We don't charge on a subscription model. Like how are you and I, as we try to like make things happen ourselves, be able to afford everything? Well, we can't charge, subscriptions for like
No.
listening to us. I mean, I'm sure that might be a different way in the future, but I'm done with the subscriptions. I'm tired of the subscriptions. And this is what happens when you had the conversation, 8, 6, 7 years ago about, oh, well, it's so cheap now. I said it when I was in college. I was the only one in my class that was like, eventually this is going to be more expensive than what it is now, and the overall product is not better than what we currently have. You only like it because it's cheap. It's not going to be cheap much longer. In fact, I looked at it. I know it's a longer video for us than usual. I looked at it because Netflix is now charging like $20 a month. Well, I went on and I searched like what it used to, they used to charge for the same thing. I remember when I got it in college. I got it in 2016. It was $8 a month. It was $8.99 a month, $9 a month, $8.99 a month, and they're now charging $19.99 a month for that 10 years later. I mean, that is a huge swing. And it's going to continue to do that to eventually people say, I can't pay for this anymore. And you know what I did? I'm not paying for it anymore. I'm done. I don't need Netflix anymore. I don't need to be charged $20 a month to watch like reruns of Seinfeld or whatever I was using it for, which I wasn't even using it for nothing like anything that important. And then you get on top of the fact that you pay for these subscriptions, and then it's like, oh, then the game's like extra for some
Mhm.
entities. It's getting bad, and I'm glad the DOJ is finally stepping in, Frank.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and also on the other side of that, older people too. You gotta find a way, you gotta figure out one of these streaming platforms, then you gotta figure out, like, 3 or 4 more for people who are getting older.
Yeah,
It's a
log
lot.
in, all this other
Yeah, it's a
stuff.
lot harder
It's
for them to
terrible.
figure this stuff out too, so it's really become a pain in the neck.
And something to monitor here with the NFL and the DOJ. We'll see, keep you updated on what we find out.